let's get into Celtic Rangers. Topsy-turvy game, wasn't it? One way and the next. I guess Rangers after Thursday night, their European exploits, weren't sure what you were going to get, but they started the game really well, which was in big contrast to Celtic, wasn't it?
It was a game of two halves, definitely. I have to say, very impressed by Rangers' first half. Obviously twice now, they've got the better of their biggest challenger, on the other side of Glasgow. No, I think they once again set up the traps in a good fashion. They won the ball in the right areas. I think the pressing was very good, and physically, in midfield they looked much stronger. So, yes, am I surprised? Yeah. I had to be, because I thought especially the first half, the Celtics passing was poor. It was poor. It wasn't quick enough. Yes. I mean, you can argue that Callum McGregor was injured, but still, I expected Celtic to be much better on the ball and play with much more energy. But all credit to Rangers, because they were superior in the first half and should have buried the game, really. But then, obviously, second half, Brendan Rodgers, tweaked it a wee bit, and got the response from the team. So, you could say it was a game of two halves, but you can't argue that Rangers didn't deserve to win, though. So it's twice now.
And Alan has had so much to smile about. I mean,
but because I've had to take a lot on this. Let's not kid ourselves on. I've taken a lot and had to be quiet. But I think Johan's right. See, in the first half, what I liked was just the way Barry tweaked the formation a little bit. Because he used to have, in the last games, like Fenerbahce had like 2 10s. He only had one now. And I think that was to cover Engels when he was playing in there, as well as set traps to go and press and be aggressive with them and win the ball high. But Celtic in the first half, the passing from the back, even Schmeichel, who's been decent with his feet, the passing, it wasn't there. And I think that's because McGregor wasn't playing. You know how well he does when he comes into those little pockets of space. He gets the ball, he turns, he plays it out wide, he starts the moves. That Cameron figure wasn't there, and I think they struggled. But, I mean, Rangers overall are worried, I'm not going to lie, into the second half. After the extra time and everything, Celtic worked 2 really good goals, and I did at one moment think that Celtic would come back and win. But Big Giga Man comes on, puts one into the top bin, 3-2 win, so that was nice. It was a nice weekend.
But even that you've just mentioned there, Alan, even the end of the game, as you say, Rangers look as if they're hanging on, but find a way to win. Again, a few weeks ago, you would seriously have doubted that would have been possible. I don't know what it is about the team with Barry Ferguson at the moment. I know it was difficult against Fenerbahce for big parts of the game, but they seem to have just about found a way to get through these big tests and the testing moments. And as I say, what a week you've had, what a week Rangers have had to get through to another quarter-final in the Europa League and to go and win at the home of your rivals. I mean, that's a lot of credit to Barry Ferguson, isn't it, Alan?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. And he's getting so much more, I feel, out the players. You think of like Raskin's performance, Barron as well. Like, they're looking at this guy who's a club legend, and they're like sponges. They want to take everything in that he's saying. And Barry talks about character and desire and what it's like for everybody to wear the shirt. And yes, it can be heavy at times, but you have to deal with that and you have to keep moving forward. So you're starting to see a bit of a steeliness that I don't think was there previous, which is going to help them moving forward. But again, there's some huge games coming up. He'll chalk this one off to brilliant, well done. But we've got more on the horizon, and they need that consistency. It's not about can we just get up for this big game or that big game and you drop off. It needs to be week in, week out, and that's what he needs to instill into these players.
I know, Johan, that tactics are everything, right? Especially with foreign players these days. They want to take all the information on board. But you worked with Neil Lennon at Celtic. Somebody that knows the club inside out, somebody that understands what's required, somebody who's on the sidelines kicking every ball, where it matters that much to the manager that it must feed through to the players, that it has to matter that much to you as well. And it didn't look like that under Philip Clement. So, a few people questioned the Barry Ferguson interim appointment, but did you actually think, given what you've seen in the past, it was actually quite a smart move at this point in the season?
No, I do. I think it's very similar when Neil Lennon took the job or got the job, like Barry's getting it now, because they're both club legends, and Barry's definitely going to instill pride and character. That's what he's all about. And I agree with Alan as well. He showed some, tactical awareness, and to tweak it a wee bit, to coming into this game. So you need to give him credit. And when you come in the middle of the season, or even the last third of the season, it's just that much you can do tactically. You need to install. First of all, you have to lift the mood, and get some confidence in the players. But then it's up to the players themselves, to listen to the manager, and they have to obviously show character. If you play for the old firm, I think the most important trade and you need to have is character, because it's so many good players that haven't really been able to survive and playing in the environment that the old firm is, because the pressure is on.
Yeah, just
a lot of this goes to credit to Rangers, the way they set up. I thought they were, they had it on point. And you talk about why the Rangers struggle against, other teams domestically. It comes back to what Johan's talking about in terms of character. There's so many of those Rangers players that, to me, naturally just aren't those intense, energetic characters that basically just win at all costs. And it's taken somebody like Barry Ferguson and Neil McCann and Billy Dodds to go in there to just be on them, to constantly just try and hammer home that point to get a reaction out of them. I just don't think it's natural to a lot of that team. And that's why I think, coupled with some of the tactical things, I think the biggest thing is just an actual desire from some of the players.
Yeah, which was obviously missing at times this season, Alan. Maybe a bit of tough love in the dressing room. Alan McGregor, a bunch of guys in there, the three that Michael just mentioned, who understand the club.
Yeah, well, listen,
why are you laughing when I mention Alan McGregor? Going, he might have had a huge impact.
Because I could see Hut's working.
It's the one thing, we all know Alan McGregor and what he's like, and he can be very angry at times. So I'm sure he would have had some things to say, but Fergie's the same. I played alongside him for a number of years, and he demanded the best out of you always in training. He tested you in training. He challenged you in games to be your best and give everything, no matter what, because he did. So he expected it from people around about you. So I think Michael's right in what he's saying. I don't really think the players were getting that from Philippe Clement. Yes, they were maybe being told what to do tactically and do this and that, but you need to have that, first and foremost, that desire to want to run through a brick wall, do the hard yards for your teammate. And we just don't see it enough, but we have in spells in recent weeks.
And by the way, I mentioned Alan McGregor, but I don't know what he's done with Jack Butland, but obviously Jack had a few mistakes. And even since the regime changes happened, he had a couple. But the last 2-3 games, what a role he played getting them through against Fenerbahce, and obviously made a couple of big stops against Celtic as well. Let's have a look at some of the highlights then, starting with Nico Raskan's goal. Raskan in his form that you've talked a lot about this season, Alan. He's in the Belgian squad now. It's being noticed internationally. Yeah,
and look, I think he's definitely stepped up. He's shown that he's more than capable. I think he's got that leadership quality within him. I think we are starting to see it. He just hit it now. I know he's stronger foot's left, but I just felt that if he was to take that earlier, there's a good opportunity for another goal. But this was the one that I liked the best, because it actually starts from a throw-in on the left-hand side, and Rangers work it really well over to the right. Nice ball in from Tav, flick on again from Raskin, who makes a real good run, and then they get the goal from it. But Celtic and what they're like, they're going to come at you, they're going to put you under pressure, you're going to need your goalkeeper, your defence to stand strong. And they were always going to, that's an unbelievable stop. Butland's got no chance with that one, but Sterling just to hook it away. And I just thought overall they fought for it, the desire was there, and they deserved the victory in the end. But Celtic, of course, have got quality as well, as we see.
Yeah. Johan, so much quality. Another day, a couple of them fly in. If they get back in the game even sooner, then it's a different contest quicker. But still, to score at this point, to start the second half, they left themselves a lot of time, Celtic, didn't they?
No, they did. It was important, especially after changes that Brendan did, that they got back in with an early goal. And even in the first half, they had a couple of chances. Brocke's head is just a criminal that he doesn't score from, But here, I thought, after this, the equalizer from Atata was a good ball in. Where he runs into the penalty box. But then I thought, obviously, the momentum was with Celtic, and considering, with Rangers Fenerbahce in 120 minutes, I thought, it was only one winner at this time, But then it's a mistake from the normally so brilliant Alistair Johnston.
Carter Vickers just gets caught under it. He gets caught under it, Carter Vickers, and then Johnson slips. It can happen.
But the goal in itself is just unsavable. It's a fantastic strike.
Oh, the strike is absolutely incredible. The pace that he gets on it. But
what an opportunity this is, Michael.
You need to score. Open your foot up. No, I know I'm not a striker. I would have done the same thing.
Alistair Johnston, he was first for the winning goal. He slips. Come on, you can't slip. It's a game against Rangers. You can't slip. And then unfortunately, and listen, I'm not going to be critical to him because he's been a brilliant Celtic player, for a number of years. But he could actually have scored, in dying seconds there.
See the goal, Johan, obviously the winning goal where Alistair Johnston slips as well. Watching that again, I look at Norowski, and to me, he doesn't want to go and engage, but neither is he actually holding the play up because he drops about 10 yards off. He never actually affects what Iggeman's doing. Okay, he doesn't want to commit and overcommit and, effectively be the last line of defence and be beaten, but he drops so far off. And I just think, and by the way, it's no huge surprise because he's not played a lot. And it just looked like he was nervous. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to get involved in it. He just wanted to try and almost fade away, not have an effect.
Johan, what did you think of his performance as a centre half? Because he got some praise after the game, Nawrocki.
Not from me, anyway. No, I didn't think he was that clever, I have to say, which is understandable. He hasn't played many games for the last 12, 14 months, has he, really?
No.
And to come in then, and be really solid and be important for the team, it's going to be difficult, It is difficult. And I agree with Mike, I didn't think he was... I didn't think he took the responsibility. Yes, he tried, but it doesn't suit him because he's not the best ball player on the pitch, and the way Brennan wants to build up from the back, it's not going to be Nawrocki's forte really, to do that, So maybe that's the disappointing stuff. Then is that then you need to be rock solid defensively without the ball, and I didn't think he was. He looked rusty. He looked a wee bit nervous, and he didn't really had an impact for me anyway in the defence.
We just saw the celebrations at the winning goal there, Alan and Cherney running along and spraying the Celtic fans. I believe there's a police investigation under the way. Anyway, what did you make of it, Al?
I didn't see it. I thought,
come on. God,
no, he's got a little bit overexcited, hasn't he? I mean, that's what's happened.
I'll give him his due, Darrell. Him and a few others were far too busy in the press room at Tannadice celebrating. They didn't see what was going on.
Michael, don't lie. No, look, I think he's got a bit overexcited, hasn't he? He knows what he's doing. He's sprayed the water. He shouldn't have done it. Because look, you know what happens? It starts a riot. We've seen that.
It could have sparked a riot. It almost did.
Exactly. So look, I'm sure they'll look into it. They'll do whatever they need to do, and he'll learn his lesson. And
I don't understand an investigation though, because it's pretty clear what happened.
It's pretty clear, aye. But look, it's been what, 5? Is it 5 years since the last one there, something like that? Yeah. So there was a lot of emotion, I think, and everybody, the players, the manager, all that sort of thing. So I think you have to take that into consideration as well when we're talking about it.
Johan, if you're in that other dugout at that point, you chasing them down the sideline.
I don't know really, but I agree with Alan. You have to remember though, they've been. I mean, the criticism has been quite heavy. So it is, when you work in the staff or as a player, it's just a relief, that you have, proven something. You prove people wrong. It's the best kind of medicine, So sometimes you get a wee bit overexcited. I can accept that.
Michael.
I was just laughing when Alan was talking about his 5 years. I thought he was saying that was what the punishment was going to be, 5 years.
Yeah, I did wonder myself. I thought it was a bit steep. Listen, as soon as I saw him do it, I thought he must be leaving. He's getting out the city. He must be away at the end of the season. He's getting himself in a lot of trouble, Charlie. It looks like he's leaving anyway, doesn't it? Right. Looks excellent few days for Rangers. Obviously, Alan, just final one then on this. Because a lot of people are now saying Barry Ferguson's got a real chance of landing the job, new ownership to come. Do you think he genuinely, realistically has a chance, or do you think already the new owners will have their own people in mind?
I'm not sure. I think the new owners will probably have an idea probably before even maybe Barry was, or when he just got the job, they would have had an idea who they would have been looking at. I don't think he's done himself any harm in terms of what he's done so far. So I think if this continues, he does well. I know the European game is going to be really difficult. It really is. But if he can do well,
were a real good team, aren't they?
Real good team, and it's a big ask, a huge ask. But you never know. We'll wait and see. But I think if he does well from now to the end of the season, I think in the back of Barry's mind, and I know he won't come out and say it, I think he would have thought if he does well, he'll be in the conversation. Yeah. So I think that's where it stands.
I think you're right, Hux. And by the way, the classic argument and case for a player getting into a team, they're in possession of the jersey, it's theirs to lose. Barry Ferguson, I've got no doubt that the incoming owners would have in their mind the type of manager they're looking for, right? Barry Ferguson is now in interim charge till the end of the season. He's got the platform to make the case for him to get it, and he's certainly making the case at the moment. So he might not end up getting it, but I tell you what, with every passing game at the moment, he's building the case and he's banging the drum to say, look, I should be in that conversation.
Maybe he's got a real taste for management again, Johan, but something I said on this show last couple of weeks, that even if he isn't offered the job, you just wonder the next manager coming in, particularly if it's a foreign coach, how much he would want somebody like Barry Ferguson by his side, guys like that who do understand the club. How important would that be, do you think, at the very least, to retain him in a position, if he wants it, to keep him on in part of the management team? Or I don't know, Johan, what do you think?
No, it's interesting. I think he's got a chance, definitely, because what the guys have said, especially if they do well now in the rest of the big games that's left of the season. Even if Athletic Bilbao might be the hardest team actually of them all to play in the quarterfinals in the Europa League. But they really just surprised me, in Europe, for years. So you never know. But anyway. I think it's down to Barry himself. If he gets out for the job, he's going to be, over the moon. And then he's shown, that he's good enough to the new owners. Will he then, if they get another guy coming in, will he wants to be a bit part or be in the staff? I don't know. I don't think so. Because he's now got the smell of being a manager again. He's manager for a really, really massive big club again. Then it's difficult, to take. So probably to accept being only number 2 or something like that. In the future, I would say. But for anyone who comes in, if it's not going to be Barry Ferguson, needs definitely to bring in his own people, but have good range people around him, to get him to understand the club, regardless who it is.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, good point.